Assalamualaikum and hi. In this video, we will discuss on the applications of definite integral on consumer and producers surplus. Okay, so first, let's look at how we can apply integral to calculate consumers surplus. um, okay, when you see this graph, basically you have seen this before in quadratic equations. Okay, so the first this graph refers to the demand function. Okay, this graph is the demand function, while the other graph, the one with the positive A, is the supply function. Okay, and the intersecting point is called the equilibrium quantity and price. Okay, the one on the x-axis is the quantity, while the values on the y-axis is the price. All right, so first let's look at consumer surplus. Okay, so what is consumer surplus? You can read the definition here: the amount of money that can be saved by the consumer when the market price is lower than the price demanded. Okay, so that's consumer surplus. And to memorize the formula is fairly easy um, because when we are talking about consumer, we always relate that to the demand function. Okay, it is natural to relate consumer with demand function, right? Because as a consumer, we demand for a product with a certain price. Okay, so consumer demand function. That's why in the formula we have the demand function. Okay, okay, and then the lower limit is always zero. Okay, because we only consider the first quadrant. Okay, the lower limit is zero. The lower limit is referring to this. Okay, because we are going to integrate with respect to the x-axis, so we are going to consider from 0 until x naught. Okay, until x naught. Okay, so the lower limit is always 0. You are just required to find what is x naught. Okay, and then the formula goes on, subtract y naught times x naught. Okay, since the operation here is multiplication, it doesn't really matter if you are going to write x naught times y naught because it's multiplication, right? Um, okay, next we have producer surplus. Okay, for a producer, it is natural to relate producer with the supply function. Okay, so that's why in the formula you have the supply function. Okay, but this time you will write the equilibrium first, the multiplication of the equilibrium point first, minus the integration of the supply function. Okay, now let's look at this example. Okay, you are given with the demand function. Okay, how do you know that this is a demand function? Since A is -1, okay, which is negative. And then we are dealing with a set graph. Okay, and set graph is the demand graph. Yes, this is the demand graph. Okay, and then for the supply function, you can see that the value of A is 1. When the value of A is 1 and that is positive, hence we are dealing with the smiling graph or the supply graph. Okay, and then the question, find the consumer surplus and producer surplus. Okay, before you can calculate for the two things, you must find the equilibrium point first. Okay, in order to find the equilibrium point, we need to solve the equation simultaneously. As you can see, we equate the demand function with the supply function because both are y. Okay, both are y, so we can equate these two to get the equilibrium point, or specifically the x naught first, x naught value. Okay, so demand equals to the supply function, and then as we solve the equation, negative 2x squared minus 4x plus 6. Okay, we can factor the quadratic function, okay, to get x equals 1 or x equals negative 3. But since we are only consider positive value of x, we can ignore this. Okay, ignore this. So to find y, replace 1 into any of the equation. You can either replace x equals 1 in the supply function, or the demand function. Okay, and you should get the same value of y. Y is 1. Okay, so now we have the equilibrium point 1 comma 1. Okay, then we can proceed to calculate for the consumer surplus. Okay, so this is the formula. X naught is 1. Okay, x naught is 1 because we have x naught comma y naught equals to 1 comma 1. Okay, and this is the demand function minus x naught times y naught. Okay, and integrate as usual, and don't forget the upper limit and the lower limit. Okay, and then we should get RM 2 ringgit. This is, well, you can actually rewrite this as 2 ringgit and 67 cents. Okay, okay, and then you can proceed to producer surplus. Okay, simply follow the formula. This is also 1. Okay, so 1 times 1, which is the x naught and y naught, the equilibrium point, and then minus the supply function. Okay, because we are calculating for the producer surplus. Okay, integrate as usual. Okay, so this is 1 minus, okay, this is the value 1, the x naught times y naught, minus. Okay, now insert the upper limit 1 over 3 minus. Now insert the lower limit 0 over 3. Okay, that's why you end up with 1 minus 1 over 3 because this is totally 0. So 1 minus 1 over 3 is 2 over 3, or you can rewrite this as RM 67 cents. Okay. Okay, so that's the end of this example. Now, I need everyone to do exercise question on your own, okay, and challenge yourself and make sure you are able to get the same answers as provided here. All right. Um, that's all for this video. Thank you so much.